topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Hello and welcome to It's Your Voice, the show that hosts enriching conversations in diversity. My name is Bahia Yaksan. I am a core alignment coach and a diversity educator, and I'm honored to host conversations almost every week with people who have lots and lots of experience and compassion and care for helping create more belonging in the world. I'll just point out my website in case you're interested in seeing some of the offerings I teach for individuals or organizations, anti-bias training, aligning what you really want with your values so that you can create more belonging and more satisfaction for your own life. You can go to knowwhatyouvantcoaching.wordpress.com. My guest today is Sandy Holman. She is a remarkable human being. It's an honor anytime I get to have a conversation with her or hear her. She's an author. She's a systems change agent, a leader, an organizer, a trainer, a teacher, a mentor, a daughter, an amazing community member and organizer. And the title that she offered to frame the conversation today will tell you a lot, and then we'll bring Sandy on. So today's episode is called "When Evil Seems to Be Winning: The Power of Connection During Uncertain Times." When evil seems to be winning. So she's very much about never giving up. Sandy Holman, thank you so much for being here today.
It's my it's my pleasure and honor, Bahia. It's always nice to have a little time to talk with you and your amazing self and all that you do. And thank you for what you do for the community. And I'm going to just say this, anyone out there who has the opportunity to listen to this, I really hope you support Bahia's work. It is amazing what she has done all these years, the impact she has had, and in these times especially, supporting media-oriented storytelling, truth-telling kinds of formats is even more important than ever. So really the honor is all mine to be here today, and I encourage everyone to check your website out, support you financially, make a donation, because we need these kinds of things always and forever.
Thank you so much, Sandy. You are a great supporter and sponsor. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So I know that one of the last times we passed each other in presence, in person, you said we just can never give up. Giving up is not an option. And I don't know if you want to start from there or start from the really poignant way you framed the conversation with this title.
Yeah, the title, I was inspired by that title because I have been reflecting on that a lot myself, because everywhere you look, it just seems to be that evil is winning out. People are doing things, leaders are doing things, organizations are doing things that really aren't in the best interest of our total humanity. So I found myself during these times when people are feeling overwhelmed, dealing with professional survivability, dealing with personal challenges, normal life things that happen throughout anyone's life, pondering this question myself, especially after several key community activists that I love and adore recently crossed over. It has been 2026 has been the year of substantial loss. And it's really got me thinking. So I just think it's timely and important to say to everyone, and everyone has this inner wisdom already, anyways. That part of us deep within our soul, that part of us that ignites our spirits, that part of us that knows that things need to be different, have to be tapped into at a deeper level. I'm speaking to myself as well, so that we don't give up. And I see many people around me doing just that. And sometimes myself, I've even thought, what the, but
Mm-hmm.
I know there's something in me. I was sharing this with my partner that will not allow me to give up. In fact, that is insisting on finding joy in all of this murky atmosphere that we all are living in, because joy is a form of resistance too. Joy is a form of resistance, and it's part of the recipe for not giving up, for making a difference, and not collapsing within ourselves or on each other. So,
That's beautiful. And can you talk about the power of connection and why it's more important when things feel uncertain?
I had the pleasure and the honor of talking to some recent high school graduates in Davis and other youth in other places. And I just really started thinking, and research has bared this out. They were sharing on ABC News actually within the last week that 1 in 2 people are describing themselves as lonely and feeling isolated, are feeling some sort of anxiety or depression. And I just reconnected with how critical it is for us during these times, even more, to connect with other people. If you are in an island unto yourself, and I have been there at times out of necessity, it's going to be even more difficult to survive and feel hopeful during these very challenging times. So, people connection, which means not just on Facebook, not just on a phone, although those 2 things are critical and important too, and that sometimes that's all you can do, but that face-to-face connection with even one person, and I would say at least once a week, if not twice, but at least once a week, is going to be part of the salve that heals our wounds as we experience all that we are experiencing collectively. That and doing something fun and joyful intentionally, not feeling guilty about it, despite what's going on in the world, because it actually is an essential ingredient toward us staying buoyant, not giving up, and rallying all of our giftings, our gifts, our strength, our power. We are so powerful. And I have to remind myself sometimes, even too, to do what we're supposed to do. So connecting with humans is vital. If you are doing everything remotely, if you are doing everything by phone, social media, text, and all that, those are ways of connecting for sure. But that face to face contact, it could be a professional thing, it could be a friend, it could be going to farmers market, which is happening right now, which I just came home from quickly, um, just to get a dose of my humanity there, having a nice time listening to music. But it's vital. It's not actually a luxury. I am finding that it's vital.
That is so true. We are interconnected species. We're interdependent. Interdependent. Um,
Yes.
human beings really need human beings.
Yes, we
Um,
do.
thank you for emphasizing that joy is vital.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
no guilt if you can laugh with laugh.
Yeah, I want everyone to really take that in too, because there can be a lot of guilt about doing something that brings you joy when we see and hear about so many people who are suffering. I don't know about everyone else, but I hear about it daily. My work takes me there. The things that I do to try and make a difference have me on the front line of hearing about and even seeing the suffering. I myself have experienced so much, as I said, loss. And I just know that to feel guilty about adding some joy, some laughter to your life is like hitting yourself upside the head. It's a necessity in our recipe for living, and it's easy to forget that when you are going through it. Maybe you have a loved one out there, many of you do, who are slowly dying or sick, or that you're their caregiver for, and you love them with all your heart, but it's just exhausting you. Maybe you're dealing with looking for a job because you've lost your job, or you're about to lose your job and you're feeling hopeless because you're thinking about your house bill, the gas that's already too high, the groceries you need to buy. Maybe you've broken up with a partner who was essential in your living and you're feeling like giving up. I've come across a couple people like that who are literally feeling like giving up because they've lost a loved one, even though that person's still here. Maybe you're just so frustrated and so hopeless because it looks like a collage of horrific happenings going on. And there globally, for those of us who know, excuse me, there are a ton of things that are going on. All these things can slowly pull you under as if you were being overwhelmed by a tsunami, and they can take you to places that are hard to get out of. So, actually having a strategic concept for yourself on what you're going to do to stay the course, to not give up, to remember that you're so brilliant, you will find ways to bring in the resources that you need. You're doing this by here right now to sustain the incredible work that you are doing and that you have to do. It's essential. And I wanted to talk about that today because I do hear a lot of people, I myself see it at just every other turn about some other ghastly thing that's being done that's hurting millions and even billions of people globally.
Hmm.
So I want to talk about that because there actually are some things that I'm reminding myself to do so that I can stay the course and operate in my highest gifts. And I want to share some of those today, if that's okay.
Please,
So,
please.
um, so, one of the things that we know when evil seems like it's winning constantly, and we're taking in a constant diet of seeing what looks like another challenge, another challenge, another challenge, is it does start to have a mental, physical, social, emotional, spiritual impact on yourself. And we can get to the point where we feel completely hopeless to do anything because it's coming at you like mountain, like tsunami after tsunami or earthquake after earthquake. I'm speaking metaphorically here. And you just feel like, what am I going to do? So a lot of people are choosing to stick their heads in the sand hoping it will go away, or just saying, if I stay quiet and don't do anything, nothing will happen to me, these things that are happening to other people. If I just play by the new rules, which are quite toxic for our country, that I'll be safe and all of that. But the problem is that your subconscious still knows that this is happening, and it will cause a dissonance within yourself that will physically affect your body, your peace, and your inner calmness. And it will actually paralyze you from doing anything and kind of take that cycle even deeper. So, one of the first things that I like to encourage people to do, and by the way, I'm encouraging myself to do this too. I'm with all of you, I'm no higher than any of you. I fall back into my patterns as well. But one of the things I'm encouraging everyone to do is just, first of all, be still so that you can center yourself.
Mm.
So, one of the things that is tactics of dysfunctional organizational structural designs like we're living in right now is to keep us so busy, so distracted, so frenzied, just trying to survive that we don't have any time, at least we think we don't, to
Mhm.
actually be proactive against something. It is a very powerful strategy. It is a strategy by design. I don't have time to explain all that in this talk. And it is something that we have to be aware of. So that first thing of just being still. Like right now, let's all take a deep breath together. Just take a deep breath in on the count of 3. Breathe in deeply and blow it out to a count of 4. Drop your shoulders. And then take another deep breath in, just a deep breath in. And drop your shoulders. So our breath becomes even more vitally important because we tend to stop breathing. And even if we are breathing, it's very shallow breath. It makes it hard for you to think clearly and to be still. And for some of us, it's almost impossible to sit still because we have been programmed so much to be busy, be doing something, be doing something. So the first thing I want to encourage people to do is to stop and find a space in your house or out in nature at the park, whatever, is your thing. On a bicycle for some people, on a meditative walk, whatever brings you bliss and some peace, and to be still and focus on your breathing. When you do that, you are more likely to be able to think strategically. So if you're sitting down, you're being still, and I would say do several days of just being still and breathing before you even start doing contemplative kinds of things. But once you've kind of rehabituated yourself towards doing that, begin to ask yourself some questions. There are a couple of excellent books that I want to recommend. Um, One is by a gentleman, and I'll send them to you later because I don't have them right here in front of me, unfortunately. But one is has to do with exploring, helping you to explore yourself with single, simple prompters like, um, what are you hoping to accomplish the next week? What are you doing to bring some peace to yourself? It's like I had mine sitting in the bathroom, actually, just because I find the bathroom peaceful, just to be in there, the sound of water and all of that. And I would do about one a day. And over a year, you will have completed that book. But most importantly, it centers you and gets you in touch with what your pulse points are, what I call your pulse points are, meaning, who am I? What do I really want for myself? And what am I going to do for myself and my beloved? And then what am I going to do for my community and beyond? It really gets you in touch with that. And again, I'll send you that book. He has 2 of them. He has a new one that just came out. His name is Easily. And he has 2 of them. And I can tell you, in those still moments, just doing one of those prompters a day is going to start to slowly recenter you and get you back in touch with your power and your own personal desires, and most importantly, your assignments. So, you're being still, you're using these prompters in this book to help you answer some questions and get in touch with yourself. You're realizing as you come out of some of this, hey, I don't have to do everything. It's not my responsibility to save the whole world or my whole community or my whole, um, country. But I do have a responsibility to do something that's within my capacity, my health quotient, my mental sanity, and because I want to put something back into making a difference and having an impact. So going from this, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed, and feeling like subconsciously or even consciously, I got to do everything, and switching that to, whoa, it's not my responsibility. I have no control over that. However, there are some things I can do within my personal space that can make a difference for me, my family and loved ones, the community at large, and even parts of the world. It takes that thinking, it reduces it immediately down to a navigational place where you're not feeling as overwhelmed. Now, it's going to take some time to absorb that because we're used to not doing it.
Yeah.
I was reminding myself in my meditation the other day because of the work I do, and it's real easy to get those feelings coming in because I get so many urgent emails and texts and calls. They're off the charts with people in distress. And I had to say, Sandy, you do not have to do everything. There are many resources available. There are many things that are available to these individuals. What can you refer them to that would be helpful? So like on my website, I one of the things I put on there is a list of resources for counseling, for you're struggling with food, or your mental health. And so I can just say to people, you might want to start here, but this is a real small, tiny drop in a full ocean of possibility out there, but it'll get you started. So I can just refer them to that part of the website. So when you do that, then it's easier to start thinking, if I'm Bahia or Sandy or whoever may hear this, okay, I'm reminded myself to be still and to breathe. And whenever I feel that stress coming back, I'm going to stop and breathe. Initially, you're going to be doing that a lot during the day. Let me stop, take a deep breath, because you don't realize how much stress we're working under, right? And I'm still working on this constantly because there's so much coming at me. But then you're going to start exploring using that book I just shared or some other book that prompts to make you get in touch with what are the desires and giftings and assignments for you in your living. And then you're going to get down even more and say, okay, I've identified on one of those pages in that book that these are my gifts. I do an excellent radio show. I do great connector with people. I'm talking about Bahia. I do great anti-bias training. I do a lot around diversity. And she's listed this all out in the book. Which thing do I feel capable to use now? Because you don't have to use all of them at the same time. You can if there's cross pollination. But what thing am I going to be doing now? And that may be as simple as this: I am going to shore up my show in the area of support. I'm going to create sponsorships where I am going to get 100 people to sponsor each show so I don't have to worry about sustainability of my show so I can focus on the content of my show. That may seem like you're just thinking about yourself, but you're not, because if you're not worrying about money or funding or those kinds of things, your mind is freer to do what you do so well. And how you share. I'm just giving you a simple example. It can be as small as today when I see an unhoused person and it's in a safe way, where I'm not isolated by myself and all of that. If they're asking for something to eat, I'm going to buy them a snack and give them this sheet that I happen to carry in my car with local resources so that they can learn to fish for themselves as well. And I'm just going to do that. I did that just about, I don't know, a week and a half ago. I was in West Sacramento. Um, I saw a gentleman out there, actually Kamika of all people, Kamika Edwards from Davis High, had given me some leftover pizzas. She said, "Would you like these pizzas?" And I said, "Oh, I'm sure I'll run into some people who would like these pizzas." It was not more than 20, 30 minutes later when I ran into this gentleman. It was clear that he was unhoused. It was clear that he was distraught. And I just went up to him with my little paper and those pizzas. And I said, "Here, would you like these pizzas? And by the way, here's some information for you." I turned to walk away, and a car that was parked next to me said, "Ma'am, turn around, turn around." Because I was going into a meeting, and I turned around, and the man that I had given Kamika's pizzas to, just thinking I'm just wanted to do something that I knew was going to have an impact, was crying his eyes out and saying repeatedly, "You just don't know what you did." He said it 3 or 4 times. "You just don't know what you did." And he started praying in front of me, and I was just stunned. I got the sense that he was ready to take himself out. Now, when I decided to do my small act, I was just thinking, I'm going to do something that's doable, has a beginning, middle, and an end for me. that will make me feel decent. Now, that's not why we do it, just to make ourselves feel good, but that was my intention. And I'm just trying to explain how it's even the little things that you can ascribe to yourself that will help you feel better, that you are part of a solution as opposed to a victim of all this stuff coming at us. Um, and he asked for a hug, and I gave him a hug. And I mean, you know, these are things that we think are small, but I got the sense that he had been maybe talking to his higher power. Everyone has different ideals of what that is. And
Mm-hmm.
that me coming right at that time was an answer to something he had been talking about. When I left, he was continuing to pray and just saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we can make a list of small things. And again, this is not just to make ourselves feel good. You are trying to help people, but it will be a part of the solution for you not giving up, because you'll be reminded on the constant that those little acts all together make a difference. And it may not be till you're on the other side of things yourself, whatever your belief systems are, that you realize how many people you made a difference right at the right time. So, making a list of small things that are doable that anyone could do. Oh, I'm going to send someone a positive text today. I'm going to send someone a positive email. I'm just going to call someone and say, hey, I want you to know that you have made a difference in my existence. That act you did the other day made me smile. Those things, you have no clue, especially now, how much those things mean to people. I forget myself until I am reminded, like I was with this young man that I ran into, and the man right after him, by the way. So those are scalable things, doable things, but more importantly, they go towards reminding you that you have a power, even if it's a drop into someone's soul, to do something that is part of a solution, as opposed to just complaining, just spewing off, becoming paralyzed, all things that I'm guilty of having done too over time. And I don't really like to do it. Those things will add up. After you start to regain your faith in yourself, that you don't have to do everything, that you don't have to let evil win out on a personal level, because each kind act you do is a poke at the belly of all things awful. I'm going to say it again.
Please.
Each kind thing that you do, and I have to be reminded myself, is a poke at the belly of all things awful.
Mm.
It over time starts to affect you. There's this energetic thing we cannot see that comes back to us, that strengthens us as we're going through our own stuff. In fact, you may think, I'm going through so much. And I will say this, I have been going through, uh, I don't know if it's okay to say this word, hell in a handbasket with all these losses of this year. But
So
I
sorry.
still know, and I was telling my partner recently, something in me will not give up. And um, it's because of these little things I'm sharing with you together. Also, it's because I have faith. I do have a faith. And again, whatever you believe in, some people believe in nature and love, some people believe in Buddha or Allah or God or, whatever, or, meditation, whatever your thing is that gives you some peace, um, that will help sustain you too, which gets me to the other thing. If you only believe in yourself, you're in trouble. If you only believe in yourself and not something outside of yourself, other people who are like minded like you, your faith, um, the goodness that is out there that you have to maybe look a little harder to find it, but it's out there, you're in extra trouble. But the good news is you can squash that right away just by slowly, a step at a time, poking at that awful belly of what feels like calamity with each kind act. That's how powerful that is. When I have forgotten that And I have, so everyone out there, I want to be honest, I have really took a nosedive into the potential for having extreme frustration, hopelessness, and so forth. But something will remind you, if you're open to it, something will remind you that the power you have within your own reservoir is absolutely endless and there and available for you. Take it in small doses. It doesn't have to be this big, oh, Lisa saved the world by, inventing the next cancer vaccine. That would be great. And someone's assignment is that. But we all don't have to do that, thank God. Otherwise, we'd be in trouble because I don't have scientific, understanding of how to create a cure for cancer, right? But I do understand the spirit of inspiration and the power of love and the power of determination and not giving up. And there's so much available to me that could make me give up, but I won't till the day I die. I won't give up. So, so stillness, going through some of those prompters in a book or a journal or whatever, um, starting to make a list of small things that are so doable. Like I said, I just gave you a few examples, but the list is endless. Hey, I'm going to go to the senior center and drop off some cupcakes if they'll let me, or whatever the thing is. And then starting to challenge yourself when you're stabilized again. Okay, and answering these questions. Um, what do I think with the skill set that I have is my assignment right now? Not forever, but just right now. Or what can I do with the skill set that I have right now to make an impact in my life, my beloved, and my community? Simple as that. In one of your be still be still moments, think about those things. Breathe, light a candle, have soft music on, and let it download into your being, the fabric of who you are. You will, if you're still enough, get your answer. And it will be different for all of us right now. Um, so I'm going to stop there to see if you have any questions, Bahia, because I'm just sharing some things that are helpful.
They're so helpful. It's so helpful to just follow those simple things to focus and like be still, find a practice to be consistent with. That's sometimes where I fall short, is to consistently bring myself into stillness to clear my mind, and
Mm-hmm.
then be still enough, long enough to make a list. Remember, what are my gifts? What can I do? I don't have to do everything, and just pick something and do it when you have the opportunity, and recognize it as opportunity. That's a beautiful story. Incredible, how you took the opportunity to receive the pizza to share, and then someone showed up who truly needed you to be there.
And I find that these things aren't random because as much as it encouraged him, it encouraged and reminded me of the power of those little acts, right?
Hmm.
That book that I'm sharing with you, and again, I apologize, I should have pulled it out.
It's okay.
That book is beautiful because it makes you get in touch with yourself, even if things aren't coming to you as you're being still, by just doing a prompter a day. Like one of the questions it asks, you know, you have 3 years left to live. Those are always sobering because it makes you start getting down to the nitty gritty. What would you regret if you had not finished it? It asks something like that. I've asked myself those kinds of questions too, but this brilliant young man took all these things from his still time and put it in a book for all of us because he grew substantially from doing those things. And it's amazing. The book will help you rediscover yourself or inspire you again or start to help you lay a step by step approach for yourself to get back on with it. Now, I don't want to be Pollyanna. This is a small thing. And some of us, I want to be honest about this. we've all been given different levels of assignment. And
Mm.
I would say no one's is less important than the others. Some people are going to impact people in what they feel is a very small way, a neighbor, their child, um, a friend. And their assignment in their mind is to do just that, but they don't even really know the ripple effect and what that does, right? Some people have a medium assignment. They're a local elected official. They're some of your leaders. Maybe you're the chancellor, or you're in a pretty important position with power. Maybe you're the superintendent, um, and those positions, those assignments are hardier because you usually are overseeing many people. Your potential to make a change is even at a higher ratio because by virtue of the position you're in, you oversee or you're shepherding hundreds and maybe even thousands of people, right? And then you have some people like your Nelson Mandela's. I call them the supernovas of the world. These are people who impact us globally, as he did, and so many others from every ethnic, cultural background. We could pick someone, a woman, a person, a LGBTQIA, individual, who have these supernova assignments, and their assignments are very hardy, and it often comes with tremendous danger. In fact, many of them are incarcerated, are
Mm.
targeted, are bullied, are arrested, are even killed as they're trying to do their assignments. Thankfully, most of us aren't called to do that level of assignment. And even some of those who are called to work at the global level, they didn't know they were called to work at the global level until they found themselves in it with the impact. It was part of their path, it was part of their
Yeah.
journey, even before many of them even knew it. Some consciously chose that and they're working at that level. But each of those things, whether it's small, medium, or large, I believe our ancestors and our creators, whoever you want to see them at, as are your outer forces of love, they know what we each are individually capable of doing based on our health, physically, mentally, spiritually, socially, based on where we are located strategically, based on our talents, based on our stay with itness, and all these other variables that I don't have time to mention all. And so when you get your download in your still time, or even you're not being still, because that's happened to me too. I've had still time in the morning, nothing came out of it. Then I'm walking, and then all of a sudden, bam, it just drops
Yeah.
in my head. Oh my God, why didn't I think of that? And that was from me meditating earlier, right? Because I
Yeah.
also do
Yeah.
prompted meditations or guided meditations. And so how it comes to people can be very varied. Um, but whatever your assignment is, the thing you cannot forget, even if it's an individual assignment where you think, my only job is to raise my child, and that's no big thing. Who knows? You could be raising the next president, the next peacemaker, you just don't know, the next scientist. So all of this stuff intermingles, and everyone's assignment, in a weird way, is equally important on the scale that it is,
I think that's so
um,
true.
on the approach that it is. Um, some of us have interacted with people who are going to change the world and don't know it, or change our communities and don't know it, or change some individual's life who's meant to do something at the supernova level and don't know
Mm.
it. So from that perspective, everyone's assignment matters. No one's is actually more important than someone else's because we don't know what the end result's going to be.
That's
That
right.
teacher who's teaching those classes over time, and one of those kids, discovers the next Nobel Prize winning, chemistry concept or something. So um, it makes
Yeah.
things it makes things kind of simmer down a bit. And practically speaking, I want to encourage people not to watch as much of the social media and the news. You definitely need to stay in touch with things because things are happening fast. And if you are not doing any of it and you're not aware of anything, that's not good either. You do
Mm-mm.
need to be aware. But there's ways that you can do it that are more measured and like scanning through, like sometimes I'll scan through the news and only listen to a story if I feel really compelled to hear it more in depth, or as I'm going through social media, I just reading the headlines is enough. I don't need to find the grotesque details of what happened. You see that there's been maybe a mass shooting or something in your neighborhood. I don't need to know the grotesque details. I know that there's been a shooting, so I'm aware that right now we all need to be more alert. So the way we take in stuff has an effect on us too. And
Definitely.
in the era of headphones, earplugs, uh, perpetual perpetually being on social media, which is a way to connect for some people. So I'm not judging it, but we know from the research it actually is destructive overall, especially on teenagers and younger people, as far
Yeah.
as anxiety, depression, how they see themselves. So if you do all these good things for yourself, but you wash it out by just constantly taking in a diet of negativity without that balance, it will be meaningless. I want to be honest about that. And
Yeah. And yeah, we do spiral down if we get stuck in our own echo chamber, not connecting with real human beings and not hearing different perspectives in person. Also, before I forget, Sandy, there's someone asking, or some listeners are asking, can you pull up the title of the book that you've been recommending?
um, let me see
It,
if I can find it again. I so apologize
okay.
because I
Oh,
wasn't
that's
planning on talking about it actually. But
and
as
as
we
you said, there are more books than one, but I think the main thing is to have a practice that will
Yeah,
help
this
us.
this I recommend because I have done it myself, and I'm so excited that he has a part two. I'm going to ask him, could you please send me the covers of your book? I want to share them with some people.
Thank you.
I would have one, but I just gave a ton out to Davis High School students. And so I literally don't even have a one for myself. I'm going to have to buy the part two. I did the part one. Um, and I really want to highly recommend it because it's very centering, very doable, a snippet a day. My goal was to do one a day or at least 3 or 4 a week. I ended up sometimes going too fast because I was just so excited what was coming out of it. But I really do encourage you to do it slowly and methodically, and it will be helpful. If I don't hear back from him, I will send it to you, and maybe you can communicate with your audience.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Another thing I love about what you're recommending is that um, I love the idea that we have assignments and that people can have different words for that, like ways they want to volunteer or things they're compelled to contribute to, and also that we can do. We don't have to stay in a lane. It could be one
Mm-mm.
day you want to, you know, buy a burrito for someone who's
Yes.
hungry, and asking for something, and
Yes.
take the time to bring them something back to eat, or
Yes.
water. Water's so important when it's so hot, or shade. Um, or it could be you write a book, or you're finishing an article,
Yes.
or you're teaching kids how to um, you know do a play that's fun and helps them laugh and have joy in their lives.
Absolutely. And I can't stress this enough. I was advocating for a while that everyone, especially in the summertime, carry around a little cooler in their car with ice cold waters. Um, I was driving around one summer and people were laying on the hot cement, which was even hotter than what the temperature was, which was pretty bad. Um, a couple looked like they were gone, that they had transpired. And you would have thought I was giving them gold blocks as I drove around and just gave out water to people. Now, you need to be safe as you do things because I have noticed there's a lot more mental illness. I used to get out of the car and engage people on the regular. And I've noticed that they are also being affected by the tremendous pressure and discompartmentaliting of their own lives or their own things. But I feel pretty comfortable doing that, going out. Always have flyers with resources on it that are local that they can go to. Always try to have bottles of water and snack. I actually made these little mini Survive Thrive bags with Ziploc bags and or paper bags, and it would just have some key essentials, something to eat, a little change because I'm giving to lots of people those resources,
The
the
resources.
988 phone number, which everyone should know for people with mental health. And honestly, uh, most of the unhoused people were saying to me, just thank you for seeing me and saying hi. Most of them wanted a hug. Now, not everyone feels comfortable hugging the unhoused, and there's ways that you can deal with that. Because understandably, unfortunately, a lot of them have had to deal with health issues as a result of being exposed and not being able to have proper hygiene and just a lot of things that they're dealing with. But they are some of the most beloved people I have ever met in my life. They have touched me so. If I had no other reason for living but just to offer them a respite of peace and love, it would be worth it for me to
Mm,
still be here. Um,
mm,
and it also makes you remember that as bad as things are, someone else here nationally and around the world is dealing with much worse. People do need to take a snapshot of what's happening globally after you recenter yourself, because we're not trying to stress you out more. And it is not good. I want to be honest about that. There are things happening today that we do need to understand. It's going to require each of us using our gifts, centering ourselves, doing our small part, because those small parts collectively, I can't do everything you're supposed to do, but here, you can't do everything I'm supposed to do. Our,
mm.
our neighbors down the street, our various people who choose to step into their assignment, because we're not just here to live for ourselves, although I think that's a big part of it too. Um, but when we all do our assignments, there's a synthesis, an invisible sort of connectedness that is happening that starts to develop like a web to combat some of the evil that we are experiencing. And I don't know any other word but to call it but evil. So if I were making a cake of of combating evil and just not giving up hope, that cake would have the ingredient of that still time, that self-reflection with the prompter book, our meditative meditation guides. There's all kinds of things that are out there that are powerful. They take you through, they guide you. Don't have to worry about trying to come up with your own meditation. They'll guide. I love the guided ones because I've gotten in touch with some of the most powerful things. They relax you, and then they're like almost like you feel like they're saying your name. Now, Sandy, are you ready to explore what your assignment is? Take a deep breath in and picture the light just entering your body and exploding with possibility. Is that deep or what? I mean, it just feels when I've done that in my meditation chair
Mm.
upstairs, it is so catalytic in moving me from
It's great.
horrible places to others. So it would
That's a
have the still
gratitude.
time, the prompting, the getting in touch with your assignment, the small things, and then whatever else you've been assigned to. But it would also have fun. We're getting ready to celebrate Juneteenth, right?
Yeah.
You should not be bored. We also had Pride recently, and Woodland's having their Pride this weekend. Juneteenth, West Sacramento for Yolo County had their Juneteenth, but in Sacramento, at William Lamb Park, they're having gospel under the stars Friday night, and then the big Juneteenth celebration at William Lamb Park during the day. And then after you finish that one, you can go to Underground Books in Oak Park with Kevin Johnson and experience their Juneteenth. There are endless Juneteenths. You can go to the African marketplace. I mean, there's probably about 9 or 10 Juneteenths going on. Then on Sunday, you can
Fun.
see the author Wright, who's an incredible master artist who does work point by point using bleach. On Father's Day, you're looking for
Ah,
something
yeah,
new.
yeah.
You want to be inspired by this elder artist who
Mm.
is a master. He's right now being displayed at the Davis Library, and he will be speaking on Sunday at 2 o'clock. If you want some elder wisdom and
He is
inspiration,
a master. He is
oh,
amazing.
come and
And
look
I
at it.
said, I have to cut in only because we have 1 minute left.
Oh,
I also want to remind people that you are an author. You're a documentarian. And I just squeeze in when a listener asked, do you know the name of the person who wrote the book that you're recommending? But I also want you to just have the last word before I thank everybody. But we just have
his
probably
name, his name is Easily Done and
easily done.
Company. If you
Okay.
Google Easley Dunn, EASLEYDONE and Company, his information should come up, and I'm just uploading the book real quick to see if he
Okay.
sent it. He didn't. Oh, it's called Life Work Experience. He has a part
Okay.
1 and 2.
Well, we have to actually wrap up on that note. But you have beautiful books and creative life and art, and uh, it's it's just always a joy to be with you.
You
Thank you
too.
so much. We'll
You're
continue this
welcome.
conversation. This was
Don't give up,
incredibly
everyone.
helpful.
Take care.
Thank you so much, Sandy Holman.
You're
Thanks to
welcome.
listeners and viewers. Thanks to Rebel, the engineer, and our producer Dean Piper, and to Sandy Holman. And never give up, as Sandy says. May we all have enriching conversations in diversity.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much.